I think the one thing all college basketball fans, pro basketball fans, anybody that loves this game, that saw Nash play at any level and now coach at this level, they want to know the biggest reason, the single biggest reason you hired Steve Nash and signed him to a 4-year deal.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. You know what? I don't know if there's one single reason. I think it comes down to quite a few things, to be brutally honest. But you mentioned it before, is the trust. And, I've had a long relationship with Steve, and I know the type of character he is and the type of person he is and how he leads. He led, the Phoenix Suns that I was a part of, and I saw that firsthand. And the empathetic leader and the trust that he developed between coaching staff and 1 through 15 on the bench. It was impressive. That's nothing like I've ever seen before.
What's up, Sean? Jay Will here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How do you respond to Stephen A. Smith going on TV yesterday saying that this was a white privilege selection of Steve Nash?
Look, we're in unprecedented times here, and I understand where Stephen A. is coming from, but I think in this moment in time, I'm looking to hire, the best person, the best fit for this job at this moment in time, and that is undoubtedly Steve Nash. So, I'm not looking for anything other than who is going to be the best fit with these particular players at this time. As I said before, we did cast a very wide net, a very diverse net, and looking at candidates, and there's a lot of tremendous candidates out there, without a doubt. I mean, this is a good time to be looking for whether it's assistant coaches, what have you, because there's a lot of really, really talented individuals out there. At the end of the day, it came down to who we wanted to be the head of our snake, and that's Steve.
Sean, when you look at it, you hire Steve Nash, no prior coaching experience at any level. Why do you feel it's going to work, though?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the trust he was able to, develop with his teammates. I have seen the rapport that he has with players around the league already. I mean, he's always working guys out in the off seasons and so forth, and giving his time and so forth. But when people say, he has had no coaching experience. I honestly would make the argument that he's been coaching for 20 years. I mean, he is a guy like that, playing that position. If you notice how he played and you watched how he played, and if you got firsthand experience, like I was fortunate to get, look, he helped coach those teams he was on, and he is a big vocal voice, whether it's on the court and off the court. And I think the off court is, to be honest, just as important, maybe even more important than on the court. It's developing those trusts with not just Kevin and Kai, but it's 1 through 15. I mean, he's one of the only people I've ever really come across where he truly put team statistics ahead of everything individual. He was not interested in individual accolades whatsoever. And it showed how he played and how he managed the game.
Knowing that you now have Steve Nash as your head coach and with Jacques Vaughn right there as your head assistant, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, what kind of style of basketball could we expect to see next season?
I've talked to Steve a little bit about this, and I'll let him and his coaching staff really develop it. But I think we all know the way Steve liked to play. He liked a lot of ball movement, liked the pace of the game. So I expect us to get up and down very quickly. He's a very progressive mind. He's very curious. So the fact that he spent, the last few years with Golden State and under sort of the tutelage of Steve Kerr and watching those guys, I think we'll probably take some things from their game. But I think Steve will make this his, and along with his coaching staff. But I without a doubt, with the players that we have and with the curious mind of Steve and his staff, it'll be a fun and entertaining style of basketball.
It certainly will be. And with that being said, being here in New York, the expectations is always high for their sports. How much pressure is going to be on Steve to get to the Eastern Conference Final or even the championship for that matter?
I don't think he would have taken this job if he didn't want the pressure. I mean, Steve has played in some of the biggest moments in NBA games and NBA series and so forth. He wants it, more than most. And I think we all are very realistic about what the expectations are for us. We have worked extremely hard to build Brooklyn up, as an organization over the last 4 years, and give us the opportunity to go out there and compete. And, a lot of things have to go your way. You have to stay healthy, and, you need a little luck involved without a doubt. I mean, all of those of us that played at, a high level realize that, you don't get to Eastern Conference Finals or even win it without, a certain level of luck. But, you make your own luck. And I can guarantee you that, Steve is ready for that. And just knowing the work ethic that he has, I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Sean, can you give us some context on the relationship that Steve has with KD and with Kyrie?
Yeah, I know their paths have crossed numerous times. I mean, Kevin and Steve obviously know each other better, I think, from the Golden State days. And, talking to both of them, they've talked a little bit about how, some of the little, nuances that Steve has maybe given Kevin, over the last few years about his game and so forth, and practice time and how to be extremely efficient in their workouts and so forth. I mean, I think Steve is a great teacher of the game and has done that his entire life, really. And Kai and Steve have gone back too. I know they've spent some time over the last, several years, really over Kai's career, working in off seasons every now and then. And that just speaks to, one, the respect that Steve has with his peers, but also just the fact that, again, it comes back to humility and Steve saying, look, what can I give back to the game? How can I be a teacher? How can I pass some of my tricks on to the next generation and so forth? And honestly, you see that with, Kai and Kevin now passing things on to, whether it's Karras or Spencer or the rest of the guys, which is terrific.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.